Welcome to Myths and Lore. Today we're going to take a look at the Wookiees, the Star Wars galaxy's furry giants. The Wookiees are a species of 8-foot-tall humanoids covered in shaggy fur, and they come from the planet Kashyyyk, a planet that is covered in worship trees that can be up to a few miles tall. Despite them being involved in interstellar travel for thousands of years, they live in mundane tree houses high above the forest floor, equipped with landing pads for ships supported by the trees. There are large cities built high in the trees, but most Wookiees live in small settlements and live in tribalistic, honor-bound society. In these smaller settlements, they will have a clan leader that is sovereign over the group. Wookiees have retractable claws like cats that they evolved to help them climb trees and to deal with other fauna on the planet, as the Wookiees and trees are not the only extra large life forms on the planet. However, even though they are equipped with these natural weapons, they cannot use them to attack each other or bring dishonor on themselves. These Wookiees that attack their kin with their claws are exiled. The Wookiee Zalbar was given the name Madclaw and had to have Jedi Revan prove that Zalbar's actions were due to his brother selling out the clan and trading clansmen to slavers. The Wookiees were largely believed to have originated from the planet Kashyyyk, which was part of the Kashyyyk system in the Mirtaranor sector of the Mid-Rim. However, various pieces of lore had different versions on how they became the dominant species of their world. According to Wookiee legend, the first Wookiees on Kashyyyk were visitors, either in the form of pioneers or refugees. Their own records were vague on the subject, and they rarely spoke on this topic. Conventional wisdom held the view that the Wookiees were simply the most capable climbers in a hostile ecosystem that was full of predators. Their capacity to move higher up in the trees allowed them to avoid their natural predators, helping them not only survive, but evolve even further. Despite either view, no records suggest that there has ever been a time when the Wookiees did not populate the surface at Kashyyyk. Some reports indicated that the Wookiees evolved on their homeworld around 2 million years before the Skywalker legacy. Thousands of years before the Skywalkers, their world was one of the many planets that fell under the dominion of the Infinite Empire, and its surface was terraformed by the Rakata for agricultural purposes. However, the collapse of their empire left the machines unattended and resulted in the abnormally large foliage, with it being theorized that these machines led to the accelerated evolution of various native species. During the reign of the Rakata's Infinite Empire, a number of Wookiees were taken from their homeworld and transported to the Rakatan archipelago, where slaves populated worlds such as Malata. Inbreeding amongst these slaves led to sickly genetic deformities, with the Wookiees of Malata displaying a stoop-shouldered, hairless form with long front incisors used to gnaw timber thickets. Wookiees also have a long lifespan, Chewbacca himself not aging through the contemporary timeline. One notable Wookiee named Lagara lived centuries, and due to her age had white fur during her contribution to the Battle of Endor. Despite their long lifespan, they have a similar time frame for raising young as humans. Years 1 through 12 are spent teaching basic academics and social rules. 12 through 17, they are considered young adults and stay home full-time and help run their household. From 18, they are expected to start providing for themselves and starting a family. They also have to go through some sort of adulthood ritual, often surviving on the very dangerous forest floor. Not much pressure though on establishing yourself in Wookiee culture, as they do not consider themselves in their prime until they are around 200, and not considered elderly until they are around 350. From an early age, Wookiees were trained to use their dexterous hands for carving. They would learn to fashion everyday objects such as tools, musical instruments, and household items. Some would also carve wooden toys, either as gifts for their younglings or just for leisure. An old saying stated, "Give a Wookiee a knife and send him into the forest in the morning, and by evening he would have carved you a table to eat dinner on and a house to put it in." Whereas some outsiders qualified their works as art, the Wookiees viewed their innate talents as mere survival skills, as they had no word for artist in their various languages. While they appear to have a low technology level to outsiders, the Wookiees are in fact quite comfortable with modern technology. In fact, their ability to fuse modern conveniences with natural resources is second to none. They could easily mend and maintain modern spacecraft, and were known to effect temporary repairs of hyperdrives with pieces of hardwood. The wood of Worcester trees was so flexible and strong that it could be used to build starship hulls, although in conjunction with deflector shield skins. Unlike other species like the neighboring Transdoshans or the Yinchori, the Wookiees are not warlike. They're peaceful. They have the reputation of being gentle and benevolent. However, their tempers are fiery, and an infuriated Wookiee could erupt in a fit of berserker rage that only ceased when the source of their anger is damage to their satisfaction. Though they were feared as opponents, Wookiees did not use any well-defined style when fighting unarmed. To outsiders, it seems they simply charged forward, swinging their arms and crushing their targets with their massive fists. That reputation did not stop the Wookiee Rocky from starting a wrestling academy on the world of Kularin during the Clone Wars. Even more terribly, Wookiees also had the justified reputation of ripping the arms off their enemies out of their sockets, which was known to occur in instances of losing a game, as quoted by Han Solo. That state of racial rage served as the basis of the deal slang expression Wookiee, which referred to the rendering harmless an enemy by using excessive force, obviously referring to the great physical strength that provided the essence of Wookiee combat. In addition, an exhausted Wookiee could be considered even more dangerous in a fight than a fully rested one, since a desperate Wookiee is more destructive. Solo at one point when writing notes in the book Imperial Handbook: A Commander's Guide implied that Wookiees had enough physical strength to rip a stormtrooper's head off even while their helmet was latched on. The Wookiees spoke an array of dialects collectively known as Wookiee language, all of which consisted in a combination of barks, roars, moans, and growls. The most common was Shirawook, often nicknamed Wookiee speak in Basic for obvious reasons. Who can pronounce that? The literal meaning of which was tongue of the tree people. As a trade language, Shirawook was the most well-known Wookiee dialect outside Kashyyyk, and most strangers assumed that there was only one Wookiee tongue. Other known dialects were Zakzik, spoken on the Wartaki Islands, and Thirkaran, which was richer in technical vocabulary. The construction of their vocal apparatus, however, prevented the Wookiees from speaking Galactic Basic Standard, or any other language that involved a high degree of vocal nuance. Nevertheless, they were quick learners and could easily grasp the various foreign languages they encountered. I hope you enjoyed this brief look into our favorite space Sasquatches. If you like this kind of content, please like this video and subscribe for more.